What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video I'm going to show you guys how to apply Avalon King's ceramic coating by hand. Now it is a very time consuming process, but I have to admit I'm thoroughly impressed with the results. I waited about a month and a half to make this intro video just to see if I was really believing in the ceramic coating technology, and I have to admit I actually am now, and I'm a strong advocate for it. And to a point where I actually got my rims powder coated, and I had the shop actually professionally ceramic coat those rims as well. Now, the main question someone might be asking is, what is ceramic coating? Basically, it's a hydrophobic layer. Imagine a clear coat. It's basically a thickened clear coat that's hydrophobic. So what that means is that whenever water or dirt kind of sticks to your paint or like falls onto your paint, it kind of sticks to the clear coat. And it kind of makes it a little tough during washes and stuff to really get a true shine and to keep it clean consistently. Ceramic coating kind of prevents all of that. So water kind of just repels off. You can see that there's dirt right here. I can just go like this, and now the dirt is technically lifted off. It's not really stuck to my car's paint. So it's a very slick and super slick and slippery surface that's essentially kind of washing everything off or like sliding everything off. And I'll show you towards the end of the video, I went out into a rainstorm to show you this true capability of what ceramic coating does, as opposed to marketing videos that just throw buckets of dirty water onto the car. So I took it out into a rainstorm, and you can see the water just beads and just slides right off. So that's actually what ceramic coating is. Now the biggest benefit for it is that it preserves your car's paint. So you can see this is my car's paint right now. I haven't washed my car in about 2.5 weeks because it's just been raining all the time. But normally if I didn't have ceramic coating, water would be hardened onto the car. I would have water spots because my car sits outside all the time, or I would have bird poop or something like this would be stuck to the car's paint. But you can look around, except for my windshield, there's pretty much nothing really stuck to the paint except for some bugs that got splattered onto the front, which you can't really prevent. But overall, I'm very happy with the product, and I'll show you guys how to apply it. It is very time consuming. It's just labor intensive. It's not hard at all. It's just very labor intensive. And along the way, like to cut the video down, otherwise this would become a couple hours long, I'll link it to other YouTubers that have kind of go into a lot more detail on specific tasks. I really only focus on just the ceramic coating aspect part of it. So that's where a majority of this video is focused around, but there is prep work involved to get the car into that pristine condition before you actually start applying ceramic coating. So with that said, let's get started. The first step is to wash the car. As a reminder, always wash the car from top to bottom so that the dirt falls to the ground. Now the ideal scenario would be to do everything in the shade, but if you're like me and can't do it in the shade, just make sure the products you're using can be used in direct sunlight. I also linked a video in the description for anyone that might not be able to wash their car at home, but do have access to a self-service car wash nearby. I already thoroughly clay barred my car using Mother's Clay Kit, but I'm doing it again using the Speed Clay 2.0 here just to make sure that there are no contaminants in the paint again. You want to make sure that the surface is as clean as possible before you start the coating process, since it's going to essentially lock in the current condition of your paint. If you have severe swirl marks or scratches, it's a good idea to correct your paint before applying the coating. Now I won't go into too much detail on how to correct your paint, but I've linked a really good video in the description that shows you how to do it via hand or machine. Now this can be a very long process depending on how bad your paint is, and it may be worth contacting a professional, but if you do get it done professionally, just make sure you tell them not to apply a wax, as it's going to hinder the ceramic coating's ability to bond to the clear coat. Now once your car is polished, park it in a garage so your paint is not ruined by Mother Nature. If you don't have a garage, try to see if you can ask a friend or a family member if you can borrow theirs, or if ultimately you can't find someone, you could do what I did and use a public storage garage for about 1 month.
Thoroughly wipe each panel using the appropriate amount of isopropyl alcohol and distilled water. You can find that dilution ratio in the description below. This will remove any oils or residue remaining on the paint after you just polished it. Now remember, always, for whatever you're doing, whether it's the coating, the wiping, or anything, always remember to work from top to bottom, so that way you avoid touching that surface you just worked on. Next, we're going to prep the applicator pad by tightly wrapping the cloth around the sponge. Then we're going to add about 10 to 12 drops in a randomized pattern. Now work one panel at a time and split large panels like the roof and the hood into small sections. Carefully apply the product horizontally along the surface and then come back and go over that area again using a vertical motion. This makes sure that you're doing a crisscross pattern and you're spreading the coating evenly across the paint. And make sure you're looking at the paint from various angles just to make sure you have full coverage. Now the cloth should slide very easily along the paint, but if you feel resistance, stop, add more drops, and then continue. Now, depending on the temperature, you have to wait a designated amount of time before you can actually buff off the remainder of the product. So carefully buff each section that you just worked on and inspect it from various angles. If you do see a high spot, just apply the coating over that area again and immediately buff it off. Now continue working in small sections until the car is complete. I did not coat the windows, but you can if you want to. I recommend doing the windows last depending on how much product you have left. After about an hour or two, you can apply a second coat if desired. One coat provides adequate protection according to the company, but you can apply up to 3 coats if desired. I applied 2 coats to every panel except the door handles and antenna. Those areas I left at 1 coat since I ran out of product. For this car, 2 bottles were just enough to have 2 layers of protection, but after doing this, I highly recommend having about 3 bottles at the minimum if you plan to add 2 layers everywhere, including the windows. You can also coat the rims, but I had a body shop powder coat and ceramic coated for me.